Hey everybody, how's it going? Today I thought I might do my best in beauty video for the month a little bit differently and actually do a full-faced application of the favorite products, because when I got to looking at all the things that I loved over the course of the month, it nearly covered an entire face. So I'll point everything out as I go and kind of talk about it as I put it on. So I've already got my skin all prepped and everything. So the foundation that I've probably been wearing most the past month is from e.l.f. and it's their Flawless Finish SPF 15 foundation in Sand. And this is the kind of thing, like, I had it around for quite a while, never really dug into it, and then more recently purchased it as part of a haul. I say recently, but it's been, you know, some months. And I find that this is a really, like, adequate foundation is the way I'd put it. And that might not sound, like, amazing, but as you see, with the concealer that I put on top, I feel like I can get away with wearing almost any foundation all over the skin. My skin has been pretty good lately, like pretty even, and doesn't necessarily require the fullest coverage, but this does the job, you know? And I just kind of like thinking, yeah, I'm wearing a foundation from e.l.f. today and it's lasting all day and it's doing what I need it to do. And as you will see, the concealer is the real MVP here. That's the one coming in and really like saving me in coverage areas where I need it. But this works too, and this is what I've just been kind of reaching for the most. So I do about a pump and just a little extra and then dab that around. Sand is a really good skin tone match for me. And do you guys remember when I used my Instapot brushes in the Get Ready With Me video, and I was talking about this cheek brush and how it would be a good size for foundation? And indeed it is. I do like using this brush to apply foundation. Just a nice little soft angled size. But I feel like this foundation, I mean, if you've used it, you can chime in, but I feel like it's just the epitome of medium coverage, really just regular foundation, you know, regular liquid, classic liquid. I would say it's kind of a matte finish, but it doesn't look too drying. And yeah, it's just kind of satisfying to think that you can find a workable foundation from a brand like e.l.f. And now the concealer that I have been using so much and been so happy with the look I've been getting is my Tarte Shape Tape. And this is nothing new, you know, like I've had this around a while. I'll bounce around and try some different things. Always end up coming back to this. Light medium is my shade, my perfect shade, and I love spreading it out with a flat foundation brush. So that's what I'm going to do now. And this is, you know, the reason why I feel like I can wear a lot of foundations that might not have just amazing coverage, because this is going to tackle my problem areas. And it's going to stay really well, and that's a huge point about this. Like, so many concealers look great right when you blend them out, and then they just don't last during the day. And this ends up looking so fresh all day. I'm just so happy with it. And look at this coverage on my under eye here. I mean, the amount of brightening, and I just love how this flat brush just kind of spreads it out. I applied a little bit more today than I usually do. It's like you're talking about it and you're so excited, you just have to slap a bunch of it on. But I like how this brush, see how it takes it precisely up to my lower lash line? So you're getting brightness, coverage in all that area. And then I get it around my nose as well, so it tackles redness too. A little on my chin, and I also had a little on my nose there, and then just kind of blend that up toward my forehead. I tell you what, if I were still doing news, this product would be the godsend that I would use every day, you know? So good. And if I'm having what feels like a really bad dark circle, I've oftentimes paired this with my Benefit Erase Paste, and you know, I'll dab that product, or it's Boing Brightening Concealer now, but I'll dab that underneath, and it doesn't affect the staying power or the look of this at all, but it just gives me a little added color correction. But on the whole, daily, like, this is kind of the makeup routine. Now for powder, I hadn't really picked out a favorite powder of the month, so to speak, because I have been trying to experiment with some different ones. When I did my Shop My Stash video, I mentioned how I'm trying my Cover FX, and I am. But I'm also kind of wanting to compare that against my Laura Mercier, which I know is like the tried and true baking favorite. But I guess my point here with what I'm doing right now is that I have been baking too. I've been, you know, doing this kind of heavy powder step on top of the concealer and just being so thrilled with the way the staying power is, just the flawless look of everything. And Laura Mercier is no doubt best for that. I just hadn't specifically selected this as like a monthly favorite because I've been trying to bounce around and try new things too. I've also got one from Maybelline that I'm trying to get into the mix and see if that can hang with these others. It's the Maybelline Fit Me Loose Powder, so we'll see. I just put this anywhere I kind of want to brighten, and then I let that sit. And it may not be as much bake as you see on everyone, or maybe it's more. Sometimes I can just set the under eye area quickly with like just any powder if I want to, but this is kind of that flawless step that I've been trying to do. Then I'm gonna move on to brows, and I didn't really pull a brow favorite either, so I'm just gonna go from my Caboodle, my Shop, my Stash, and use my Tarte Arch Architect. This is the brow pencil and gel, and it's got one of those little teardrop shaped brow pencils in here, so it does kind of fill in quickly, sort of a universal taupey brown color, cool brown. Some of you might be wondering, how's life in that air cast since you broke your foot? Yeah, I broke my foot on Halloween night. It was like 6 o'clock, and Bub has gotten the girls down in the van and getting everything loaded up. And we're gonna do this thing called the Pumpkin Path in town. It's like where they shut down Main Street and you can go around to businesses and everybody's walking around having a good time. And we did that last year. It was so fun. And so then I'm realizing, well, if we're gonna put Eve in the stroller for that, I better have a little blanket for her. So I run back into the house, grab the blanket, head downstairs. So this incident happens where I fall down the stairs on our basement, you know, leading downstairs area. And we've got about 5 stairs and then a little landing and then the longer flight of stairs. And I guess if you want to call any part of this fortunate, which I do, I'm very grateful that, because this could have been worse. A fall down the stairs can be serious. And I could have been holding a kid too. I mean, granted, I probably wouldn't have been trying to fly down the stairs as fast as I was. And I don't even know. It's one of those moments where you're like, why was I in a big hurry anyway? Like, why am I going so fast? But anyway, I had my little like black flats on, and I must have hit like the second step in that little short set of our stairs, and my heel just kind of went out from under me for a second, and then I think I brought it back in, and it all happened so fast. It just went wobbly. I remember that, you know, that kind of sick feeling you feel where, you know, you've just turned your ankle. Although I'm not even certain which direction I turned it for all this to go down. But I fell, and I'm sitting there now on the landing area. Fortunately, that's where the fall ended, you know, in a series of just a few steps, and then boom, I was done. And so then I hobbled down the rest of them, and I get in the van, and I'm like, I think I rolled my ankle. You know, I kind of really wanted to still do the pumpkin path, so I got in the car, and Bub's like, are you okay? I was like, I'll just see when I get out next, you know, how bad it feels. And as soon as I put weight on it when we got out at the downtown thing, I thought, I can't do this. I cannot even walk around and put weight on this. So we ended up going back to Nana and Papa's neighborhood, and I just hung out inside with a little bit. Thank goodness Mom and Dad were able to help me out then and ice my foot. Tyler took Belle trick-or-treating around, so she got her fill of that experience. Next morning, there's actually an orthopedic urgent care around here, which is kind of cool because they've got all the x-ray capability and everything, and it's not like really going to the full-on ER, but they are more specialized than regular urgent care. And so they x-rayed me right away that morning, and they could tell there was a little fracture in my navicular bone, which is kind of like where the foot and the ankle come together. And she said like the ligament was pulling and it kind of pulled up on the bone or something. I don't know. But sometimes at this point I like to say, long story short. No, it's been a long story. But I will be in this air cast boot type thing for a month. And I guess I feel a little bit grateful that it is what it is, because she was saying like if it were a certain kind of sprain that I did, I could be in this air cast for 6 weeks, you know? I don't know if any of y'all have had a lot of ankle injuries, but sometimes a break can be, I guess, a little easier to deal with than a sprain sometimes. But there are tons of little bones in your foot, and I broke one. And getting around in this cast has not been easy. Like, it's so bulky, it's heavy, you know, it feels hot, it makes me itch, like, it just... I really need to get some kind of countdown going until the day I can get this off. Like, as of Wednesday, this week, it'll have been 1 week. 1 week of 4. Having my mom and dad around has been very, very helpful, obviously, because I'm trying to do as much as I can. And I'm completely the type who will tend to overdo and try to think I can do more than I can and stuff like that. So to have some extra hands here to deal with 2 kids throughout the day has been huge. Let's get back to the actual topic at hand here, which is the favorites. Okay, this. Does anybody remember when I did my super duper luxury video and I used this Guerlain Terracotta Sun Trio palette in natural? And I think I was kind of like, you know, it's an average bronzer, whatever. Well, I keep reaching for this all the time. And the smell, it smells kind of like, I don't want to say grandma smell. It smells like the scent that a classy, mature, refined person might wear. It really does not pertain to grandma, but it's just a scent that you don't expect to get out of a bronzer, okay? And it smells really good, and I find that I'm opening this compact when I'm doing something else makeup-wise just to pick up the smell, and then the product actually really fantastic bronzer here. Like, it's got the bronzer part, the dark part, this little light part, which I will end up using. So I kind of first go for the bottom, and I get that working all around my hairline, and this is just matte, you know? But it's pigmented. I kind of am able to do one pass over certain areas and I feel like, okay, I'm good. But yeah, this is the classic example of a product that's just grown on me, you know? It's just grown on me. I do really like the smell. Maybe the only thing that should come from this, because you can get other bronzers that can do what this does, but maybe if you're in a Sephora or like in a store with luxury makeup counters, just pick one of these up and smell it just so you can try to understand what I'm saying here. I end up taking the bronzer part down my neck too, onto my chest. And you might have also noticed, like, beyond the baking, I don't really feel the need to put a lot of powder on. And then I actually do find myself tapping into this little light shade, which is matte. So it's gonna be kind of like a matte highlighter, and it actually does brighten a ton. And I kind of put this on the top of my cheekbone. Now for blush, I've been having a lot of fun when I haven't been testing some other certain palette, like for holiday or something like that. I've been having a lot of fun playing with my NARS liquid blushes, and I would say my couple of my favorite shades, I really like Dolce Vita. It's a nice, like, deep rosy shade that I think could be so intense for a variety of skin tones, and it can be very light too, like a light rose on a fair skin tone. But today I'm going to be using Torrid. It's a really nice, like, rich peach shade, and so I get a little on my hand. I go for as little of a pump as I can do, and it still ends up being plenty. I get it on a synthetic brush that's just a full brush, not a stipple brush, and I just start blending this out on my cheeks. And it's so much color, it looks so fresh, and it's like light as air. It's just so beautiful. Isn't that pretty? Just the intensity of the color and the application. A brush like this is totally what you want to use, and I talked about this in a video too. But if you're into like peachy eye looks or an eye look that incorporates any amount of warmth, I think a fresh peachy cheek like this is totally the way to go. Look at that, how juicy and fabulous. Then I'm going to take my Essence Pure Nude highlighter. Kind of rediscovered this when I did my video talking about Target bestsellers, and this is actually one of the best-selling products at Target. So it's a nice, like, subtle highlight. This is an Emily Award winner last year. It's so pretty. Like, you get the effect of glow, but it's not shouting at you, really. It looks like that is believable skin. That's the way this can be summed up in a nutshell. And so when I apply highlight these days, I kind of like to put it on basically where I want it and then buff over it, because it's amazing what just a little extra attention to your blending of the highlight can do. But that is just so pretty and fresh. Like, just in real life, I don't know if it's all translating on camera. This is really the highlight you want if you don't want to exaggerate stuff around your eyes. Like if you got lines, pores around your nose, just any problem area, this does not make it worse. This is my proof. I've been using my Milani Make It Last setting spray, and I can confirm I really like this. I told you guys I would report back. I would try to use this a lot throughout the month and see how it did. It has proven to be really good in a lot of different situations. There were some times where I thought maybe that's just the foundation, or you know, maybe there were other factors at play that made my makeup wear well that day. And I do think that's a thing. I think it's hard to put all the responsibility for the staying power of a look on the backs of the setting sprays, because they're just not going to be doing it all, but they can help. And I do think this helps. And it also gives me a little bit fresher appearance on the skin. And I've noticed this when I do really matte looks, so it's not super confusing, like when I've got a bold highlight on and then I'm like, did the setting spray make me dewy, or where did that come from? This takes away a little bit of the powdery look on my skin, but just to a small extent. It's not as glowy as, you know, the hard candy and different Mario Badescu ones that I've used. But I use, you know, 4 sprays, maybe 4 to 6 sprays, and I'm really happy with how fresh and nice everything looks. And I do think it helps with a more locked-in staying power. But they also sell something called Make It Dewy, and now I'm compelled to want to try that and see how different it is. And if that still enhances staying power, or just how dewy will it make me look, I don't know. But I do really like this, and as far as a drugstore setting spray, I think it's getting close to what the All Nighter and D-Slick have done. I mean, D-Slick has done downright miraculous things for me. And you might think, why are you even using D-Slick? You don't have especially oily skin. Well, I have a travel size of it, so anytime I travel, like, that's the setting spray that usually goes with me. And I've used it at times when that, you know, may not be my ideal product, but I put it on anyway, and the staying power is so tremendous with that. So this may not be quite on that level, but it's really, really close, I think. It's done some good things for me over the month. Getting a little bit of primer on my lids here. And then I want to mention my eye product favorite. Got a couple Too Faced things coming out here. My Just Peachy Mattes, okay? I love this palette. I really love this palette. I have truly been bouncing around to a lot of different holiday palettes that I've been reviewing for you guys. This is the thing that in my in-between times I want to come back to it. This is like when you come home at the end of a day and you just want to curl up in that comfy blanket or put on that one comfy pair of PJs. Like, this is my comfort palette. I feel like I have an emotional connection to like every shade in this palette. I love it so much. I love the all matte look. I love the berries that are in here, all the peaches, the soft browns. It's here for me when I want a natural look. It's gorgeous when I want to take it deeper and more dramatic with either the dark berry or the dark brown or the really dark brown. So it's just everything that I want to be using these days. And guess what? It pairs so nicely with one of my favorite lip products of the month, which is the Melted Matte in Gingerbread Man. So this is Too Faced Special Holiday Lip, and it's so cool because it's like a rusty red, rusty orangey red, and it looks great with the shades in the peach palette. And this formula too, like, where have I been? But I discovered these when I tried the Candy Johnson line, because several mattes came out with that. I'm like, wow, this is comfortable, this has good staying power. I gotta stop talking so I can apply this. But as you can see, this is kind of a bold shade. It does have a little bit of a scent to it as well, and I like to put that on before the eyes so I can kind of bring my eyes to the level I want them, you know, not make them too loud with this look. But I have been reaching for liquid lipsticks a lot this past month, and it's kind of out of character for me. I'm more of a creamy lipstick person, you know, like that's my top choice. But when you uncover some good ones, it's like that's what you want to go for. And I predict in the coming month, I'm going to be all about my little L'Oreal set of the mini Pro Matte glosses that I talked about in my last video. You've got to see that. Anyway, I got this shade, and I've also been wearing these so much. My Gen Nude from Bare Minerals, the Send Nudes Trio. The shades you're getting, by the way, Hemp is the lightest, your middle shade is XYZ, and then Swank is this deeper one. And they're fun to kind of blend together and get different looks, and they are so, so comfortable. And then I'm gonna throw out something that I'm gonna call my purse pick, because this has been living in my purse for on-the-go touch-ups, and it's been MAC's Teddy Bear lipstick. Goes with anything. Seriously, could live in anyone's purse, and I think you'd be content with your lip touch-ups throughout the day. Gonna throw another favorite at you right here. My Eye Pop set, a duo of brushes from Real Techniques. I talked about these at length in my last Get Ready With Me video, but one of them they call the Instapop Shade Brush, and one is the Instapop Crease Brush. Do you see the soft angle on these? It's so perfect. It's so perfect to reach all areas of your eye, to really pack in shadow in certain places where you need it. I mean, it's so, so good. The little one particularly is nice because it can hit your lower lash line and do a really good job. First thing I'm gonna do is go to Fresh Picked down here, and I'm using that larger brush. I'm just gonna hit my crease with that lightly. It's just crazy how fast it creates the look. It doesn't hurt that these shadows are super easy to manage as well. And the trees right now where I live, I don't know. Y'all who live around me in Southern Illinois, who have been here even longer than I have, like, do you remember a more colorful fall than what we're having right now? I mean, I've been down here since 2006, and I feel like take a lot of note of what nature is doing around me. And I love watching the leaves turn colors, but it is absolutely brilliant down here right now. I love it so much. Okay, I took Peach Butter, by the way. That's the shade that I'm using to just kind of blend out the crease and get it nice and soft. And this is gonna be kind of a soft look with this today. I think I've done plenty of more dramatic looks, but I'm gonna do a little peach cobbler now with the small brush. Now see how good this does for packing on? Oh, it's so good. It's just exactly where I want it. If you are a small-eyed person, you would live for this brush. See how that shade right there, that peach cobbler color, gave me depth, but it's not really, you know, it's not as dark as the whole palette can go, but it's doing some really beautiful things without being super deep. I'm gonna brush off my brush a little bit here, and I'm gonna pick up Peach Meringue. And I'm just gonna pat this on my lid. And then I'm going to do my little trick where you flip your brush around and you just go straight into the peak of this brush into your product. I'm going to go into Fresh Picked. I'm going to do a little bit of this on my lower lash line. But you see what I mean about that kind of color working so well with a rusty lip? Isn't it great? Then this isn't particularly a favorite. I mean, I love it, but I love it like every single month, every single look. So I didn't pick it for this video necessarily, but it's my Wet n Wild Ultimate Brow Highlight right there in the lower inner rim for brightness. Because you do go surrounding your eye with these ultra warm tones. I think it can help to brighten up your waterline with something a little different. Then I'm going to curl my lashes with my Tweezerman Pro Curl Lash Curler. By the way, if you're looking for something to get in that Sephora sale, I probably mentioned a lot of things in this video that you could get from the Sephora sale and in other videos too, but this lash curler, my word, it fits my lash line so well. I've been using this for months now. I think it's wonderful, and it's especially made for round eyes. I haven't always thought of myself as having the roundest eyes ever, but it gets in touch with the entire lash line so well. And then I'm going to use my Voluminous Lash Paradise Blackest Black. Mystic Black, guys, is a no-go. Talk about burying the lead in this video. But yeah, Mystic Black and I did not get along. I thought that thing dried out so fast. Has anybody else had this experience? Backing it up a little bit, they sell a version of this mascara called Mystic Black, and you're gonna wonder like, oh, well, why not get Mystic Black? You know, I want to look mystical, whatever the heck that means. So you get it, and it's just in slightly different like outer packaging, but otherwise the tube looks the same as this. And so I'd been using that on and off, and I thought it dried out way too quick, and it just didn't build on itself. Like, I'm all for a slightly on the dry side mascara, you know, because I think they do tend to build on themselves a little bit better than the super wet, slippery ones. But this one, it wasn't dry in a good way, and it was getting chunky and just not at all like the regular. I did not expect that much of a difference, guys. And now I'm back to a tube of Blackest Black, and we're friends again. I love it. But I had to share that with you guys. I mean, maybe I just got a really bad tube, but I feel like maybe they packed in some sort of extra pigment into that Mystic Black, and it just made it a really dry formula. But I thought it was good for the first couple times I put it on, maybe the first week, but it went downhill fast. I was surprised. So I got a little bit careless there, and I got some on my eyelid. You ever do this? You try to just remove most of the smudge and then you put a little more shadow on to help yourself out. And then I'm just gonna do a little Clump Crusher water resistant on lower lashes. This would fall into that category of always a favorite. Always a must-have. Doesn't move, doesn't flake, doesn't smudge. So yeah, on that note, I'm going to take my hair out of my clip. By the way, a new favorite that I'm loving in the shower right now, Candy Johnson has come out with some different, like, I guess you might call them holiday scents of the OGX shampoo and conditioner. And I got the apple cider one and it smells so good. I don't think I've ever had a shampoo that contains kind of a cinnamony scent a little bit, and that is so good. The shampoo and the conditioner, love. But yeah, this is my full face try on of the fall favorites for you guys. Yeah, I guess they're technically October favorites, but you could call those fall favorites. Again, love the pairing of any kind of peachy eyeshadow with a deep rusty red lip. So nice. Let me know in the comments section what products you've been loving, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Bye. Well, look who it is. Who just wants to sneak in at the end of my videos just to be seen. Hi, bub. No transfer.